This is your captain speaking. Be sure your seat is in its full, upright, and locked position. Today is June 1st, 2026. And wow. Hope everybody's doing well. We are going to look at a few things today. Bam! There you go. It's amazing that Gemini even made that for me. That's funny. Probably because I didn't spell it correctly. Put ooh into it. There you go. Clearing the way for demons, indeed. And as I was looking around, I noticed a couple things. So that's Astana, Kazakhstan. That's a whole other story. So, yes, high-profile individuals such as billionaire tech investor Peter Thiel are purchasing historic, ultra-luxury mansions in Buenos Aires enclaves like Barrio Parque Butter. I don't know. Such prominent acquisitions are driving a broader surge in the luxury real estate market, with overall property transaction volume growing significantly. Who is the glorious dictator president of Argentina? Javier Milei, as in Milukowski. You know, like Netanyahu's real last name. Yeah, that makes sense. Why wouldn't he be the? Why wouldn't a J be the president of Argentina? That makes sense. Just like there should be a Jewish president of Mexico, who's basically the head of the cartel, because that's what that cult is into. They are the lead of every mafia you can think of, any organized crime. Who has the most money? Who wants the destruction of mankind the most? Who hates the goy? So what vices there are in the world, they'll be the ones that are, for the most part, your source for being allowed to conduct business, and the supplier. Whether it's gambling at casinos. Do you think the guys with the big headdresses actually own theirs? No. Casinos, drug trade, human trafficking. Oh, and they also, obviously, they push the politics that approve poisons in the medical field, and also approve them for use in agriculture, in the skies, in food products, in hygiene products. They even mandate it in the hygiene products, not to mention your water, because it has to be clean, right? And there were air quotes there for people listening to the podcast when I said clean. What's going on over here? Let's do a refresh. All right. And I have to open up. I didn't need to refresh. God damn it. Let's see if that works instead. This is probably going to refresh first. Johnny Doomslayer has a cool thumbnail there. Oh, you dumb I said open a new tab. Damn it. There we go. All right. And now I got to pull up a Rumble. And let's see. We have the Business Insider. We have CEO Magazine. Yeah, that's really catered to a very small audience. a niche within the niche, right? From Bill Gates to Mark Zuckerberg, the world's richest tech billionaires reveal vastly different tastes in lifestyle and decor. Who cares? This is celebrity worship. Unless it just makes you angry. Then I guess it serves a purpose like that. I don't know who this ugly chick is here. That's a nice couch. Get off it. Put some socks on. Don't wreck it. All right. And here's something funny, right? So Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, Palantir, he's CIA, guys. Palantir is CIA. Just like Facebook is the feds. It's all the same demonic USA Incorporated corporation owned by even more demonic bankers over there and over here. He is perhaps the most famous American tech executive tied to New Zealand. Uh-oh, New Zealand. You're in trouble. Thiel holds New Zealand citizenship and the civilians hostage and owns multiple properties, including a large estate near Lake Wakana, a luxury residence in Queenstown, and a clifftop home in the Bay of Islands. Scroll down a little bit. It says, Sam Altman does not officially own real estate in New Zealand. Remember, both gay. Both riding the old sausage, right? Sam Altman does not officially own real estate in New Zealand, but his connection to the country stems entirely from a highly publicized apocalypse escape plan with tech billionaire Peter Thiel, who also, I don't know, it's surprising they didn't say investor in Rumble. Him and Fuck Nick. And you know that time they pretended that Bongino owned it? Remember that? Because I guess whoever his handlers are told him to put money into Rumble. Remember that? The Doomsday Agreement. In a 2016 interview with The New Yorker, Altman revealed that he has a mutual arrangement with Peter Thiel in the event of a global systemic collapse that they will most assuredly be responsible for, amongst other things, just the cult of banking in general. But they'll be the ones doing the cybersecurity, i.e., surveillance and mass murder of people, such as synthetic virus outbreak. So poison is what you're trying to say. Rogue AI, which they would be directly responsible for, or a nuclear war, which they could also be directly responsible for. The plan is for both of them to board a private jet, assuming that it doesn't get shot out of the sky. Well, no, because they're not going to shoot themselves out of the sky, and the people who actually do all these horrible things to the rest of mankind, they're all on the same side. We don't have jets. We don't have anti-aircraft weaponry. Only they do. So they'll be okay. A private jet and fly directly to Thiel's 477-acre estate in New Zealand's South Island, where they will rub each other raw. The tech and startup advisory roles, the new Silicon Valley trajectory, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about him visiting New Zealand or Kiwi startups. I could give two shits about any of this. Would you like more details on tech executives who have built Doomsday? Yes. We already know about the 5,000 square foot Mark Zuckerberg one, right? Mark Zuckerberg owns Koalu Ranch, a sprawling 1,400-acre compound on Hawaii's North Shore, not too far away from Ellison, who owns his own island. Valued at over $270 million. Man, his boat's worth more than that. Or I don't know if it was worth more than that. He paid more than that. It's a pretty nice looking boat. The shelter, a 5,000 square foot underground bunker connected to 2 primary mansions via an underground tunnel. Yeah, weasels love tunnels. Weasels love little things they can burrow into. And they like to burrow into each other's bums, too. They're felchers. Hardened security. That doesn't. After my statements just now, that was just not right. Stop it. The bunker features a massive blast-resistant door made of metal. Well, that's a good thing to make it with instead of plastic. And filled with concrete, as well as an integrated escape hatch with a ladder. Extreme secrecy. Well, not if it's on here. All I have to do is ask questions. Construction has been heavily guarded. All workers, including carpenters, painters, and security, were murdered after completion. Are bound by strict non-disclosure agreements, is what they say, but you know what really happened. They're buried in his backyard. Zuckerberg has split crews onto separate projects to ensure no single worker knows the exact layout of the facility. Yet they all have a key. Self-sufficiency. The compound is built for long-term survival. Incorporating its own food production systems, agricultural operations, and an 18-foot tall water tank with an independent pump system. Yeah, you do all that just to have a man cave. Absolutely not planning anything nefarious, which would eliminate the rest of the people on the surface of the planet. Hold on. You know, when I think underground bunkers, I don't think to myself, hey, you know what would be a great place to dig into the ground and build this thing that's gonna last forever? Oh yeah, on an island with a bunch of volcanoes on it. Great thinking. Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, Queenstown and Wakana, New Zealand. Thiel famously spearheaded the push to use New Zealand as a doomsday escape hatch. Panic Room Mansion. Thiel purchased a multi-million-dollar mansion in Queenstown equipped with a fully integrated, customized panic room. Don't let that make it sound like it's small. His room is like an entirety of your home. Earth-sheltered compound. He also bought a massive 477-acre site near Lake Wakana. He submitted architectural plans for an ambitious. I was thinking Epstein, I guess. Yeah. Ambitious bunker-style compound embedded directly into the hillside. The earth-covered design features massive glass-lined lodges and owner pods meant to blend into the landscape and remain highly secure. So, there you go. Bill Gates has publicly focused on global health and shut up. Yeah, global health means trying to murder everybody and lying about it and claiming everything's climate, blah, 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 and CO2. Real estate insiders and bunker manufacturers report that Gates has underground bunkers built beneath almost all of his primary residences. Yeah, when you know you're up to no good and you know the plan because you're on the in, you know what they're going to do. So you take precautions. You get the heads up. Even though that we know this is a potential, we don't have the cashola to be making lavish 20 to 50 year life sustaining bunker hideouts. And if we did, their GPR, ground penetrating radar and drone strikes would finish that for us. This includes his massive hyper-tech estate, Xanadu. Yeah, right. That's Citizen Kane, right? Xanadu 2.0 in Medina, Washington, which features highly secure subterranean living quarters. I'm pretty sure that's from Citizen Kane. In the 1941 film Citizen Kane, Xanadu is the fictional palatial estate of media tycoon Charles Foster Kane, which is supposed to be, what the fuck is his name? I just said it in my head and I lost it. Damn it. I know it. He was the newspaper guy. You've stopped capitalizing. William Randolph Hearst. Yeah, that was on the tip of my tongue. Because director Orson Welles and co-writer Herman J. Mankiewicz, no, that doesn't sound Jewish at all, wanted a complex protagonist. Kane is actually a composite character. In addition to Hearst, he was also modeled after several other notable figures. Yeah, great. People that nobody cares about. Mm-hmm. Moving on. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Okay, that's it. That's enough of that one. What is up with this dude's face? What is happening? What is that? Is that a werewolf? What the fuck are we looking at? Are these people human? I'm not trying to be rude. Kind of. Hold on. Let's see if it pops up again if I do it. No, every time they change. Yeah. See this face? Right above my head here? Probably where my head is. See that face? I mean, he seems like a cool dude. This is Reckless Ben over here on the right. But his name is Schneider, and I guarantee you that's not German. I mean, it is a German name, but it's stolen, you know? Look how close his eyes are together. I mean, I'm sure he's probably a really good dude, but he's still of that tribe. And, just creeps me out. He's doing good right now. He's doing good to help a person who had their shit stolen. So I'm not trying to be an asshole, but if you know about the Lego case, maybe we'll get into it later. Fox and cat standoff. Gee, this might be better than everything I'm talking about. Wait. Hold on. Wait. This is. I gotta see. I gotta know.
Hello, faggot lovers everywhere. I've a message for you from Birdseye. Birdseye faggots will appeal to your whole family. They've made them with lashings of gravy, but they've gone easy on the spice because kids don't like them too spicy, apparently. Birdseye even suggests that people who don't like faggots could enjoy these. They live in hope. You know, that could be right.
Faggots and gravy. What the fuck? That looks like Mepsigram. Anyway. Oh, good. I'm glad you showed up early to give me a thumbs down. You must have had something to do later, huh? I love it. Hey, you know what they say though, right? All engagement is positive. It doesn't matter. So every time they do that, they go out of their way. They're actually having more activity on your stream or your video, whatever. So even when they think they're gotcha, they're just so low intellect that they don't realize that they're actually helping you be seen better. When they got the 21 downvotes, and I mentioned that on that show. Have you seen any of them show up again? That's kind of weird, right? All right, let's see what
On Wednesday, we took a deep dive into a series of mysterious fires in the Argentine region of Patagonia, where President Javier Milei has just repealed a law banning the sale of fire-damaged property. This is what
right, because you gotta hold it for the Jays, the 300,000 Jays that he ushered in. This guy, the whole world is held hostage. They just more recently have decided, hey, we don't need the goy out front anymore. We don't need our little fellow travelers to represent things. simply because they're the ethnicity of their own nation. So, people don't get weirded out by that. No, this is the end game. We can put our own people in it with a name that is just simply shortened from Milikowski. Oh my God. And he looks like Mike Myers when he's playing a character. It's kind of like an Austin Powers, but also like fat bastard rolled into one. I'm talking about Milikowski, not this guy. This guy, I don't know. What is that face? It's like a woodchuck or something. Woodchuck with Eddie Munster eyebrows and hair.
Say, after this law's repeal, arsonists can burn land and then ultimately buy and occupy it. Local news in Argentina interviewed one woman and she was devastated.
Este lugar para nosotros es el paraíso y nos quemaron el paraíso, loco. Nos dejaron, arruinaron todo. Y acá lo que pasa.
She did all this talking, and then the translator said, "Yeah, she's devastated." Why the hell did we waste this long? Okay.
¿Sabes que están queriendo venderle la Patagonia a todos los judíos, loco? Esto se sabe hace un montón. Acá todo el mundo lo sabe. Está lleno de israelitas. Está todo el mundo comprando la tierra.
This place is crawling with Israelis? Is that true? Another news report from Argentina caught our eye. We seem to learn.
Why is he doing a box within a box? Is it because somebody ripped this from an OAN broadcast? Like, why is the box within a box? What is it's like OBS shit? What are they doing here?
That grenades found in the burned up areas of Patagonia are Israeli made.
Estas son las granadas.
Sí, se encontraron ya 6 granadas. La primera vez ahí trabajando buzos,
Sí.
porque la primera...
What's that you say? The leading cause of death, even if you're a tree, is Jews?
Hace un mes, y la última fue el viernes pasado,
Sí.
fue la primera en un lago.
So Israeli grenades are starting fires in a place where people feel globalist.
Did they throw the patch on there too? Like, seriously. Explosivos. They make it look like they're like, they ripped their patch off their shoulder, threw it on the ground, like, here, just don't ignite that. Don't make that one blow up. Just put one there so they know it was us. Oh yeah, and sprinkle some passports around too on top of the ash. That'll teach them.
Terrorists are causing international fires that are happening intentionally. It seems odd, unbelievable to us that Israeli settlers would be welcomed into a country like Argentina for this purpose. After all, after World War II, it was Argentina that hosted many Nazi war criminals.
So here is the reasoning why that's a stupid thing to say, and it's an ignorant fucking assumption to be made, because these people were moles. Just because they have fucking German last names doesn't mean they weren't either fellow travelers or straight up Jews themselves. Ever hear of crypto? The reason why they knew everything that was going on in Germany is because they had an awful lot of feelers too close to the heads of state over there. So naturally, because they're on the same team and in the same cult, they brought them over here. They're like, oh, look, they freed Nazis. No, they didn't. That, first of all, they're National Socialists. The people over there, the fuckheads that sabotaged them and were spies, those were pieces of shit. And those pieces of shit got rewarded by going to Argentina rather than being hung for doing nothing wrong.
We applaud the work of the Simon Wiesenthal Center to hunt down.
Yeah, the Simon Weasel thaw, and their freaking little tunnels, and they're the Simon Weasels. You got it. You said it right.
Fugitives in Argentina. We also looked deeper into history. Did you know that a Jewish autonomous region was contemplated within Argentina in the late 1800s and early 1900s?
Well, why wouldn't it? Because the first wave of fuckers that always shows up is conquistadors, cryptos, Jesuits, more cryptos. And by then they've ravaged and destroyed the freaking the natives. Not to say that it's whatever, but they do harmful, horrible shit. Just look at the reductions of Paraguay if you want to know what the Jesuits were doing. They were creating communist territories for manufacturing in the 16 and 1700s. The reductions of Paraguay. Yeah. So these missions and this bullshit and this whole it's Roman Catholic yada yada, it's not Christian, and even I'm not sure if that would, I mean, it might be under the guise of whatever, but it's Jew run bullshit and human trafficking almost immediately. So it's no surprise that since they dominated the territory already, that they would come up with a proposal to bring more filthy pieces of shit over there to do more harmful shit to the natives population and what, so on and so forth.
The idea was pushed by Baron Maurice de Hirsch, a Jewish...
Yeah, look at that. Nice mustache there, fuckface.
philanthropist who funded colonies in South America.
Gee, how is it that they're always rich? Oh, yeah, because they created money, basically. They may as well have. They control it all. They manufacture it out of nothing. Yeah, so they create money.
He helped tens of thousands of Jews go from Eastern Europe to find refuge in Argentina's Patagonia.
Yeah, they were hiding from work and showers. Refuge. Starting a bunch of shit, causing a bunch of people to die from poisoning their fucking water and wells, being subversives, being insurgents, causing havoc, robbing people blind, conducting usury. Let's see, what else? There's more. There's much more. Trying to sabotage and overthrow governments, just like the Jesuits try to do everywhere they go. They have a lot in common because they're the same. And then crying about it when people don't want you around anymore because you're perverting their country, you're making them poor, and you're treating everybody like shit because you hate them and you want them dead. And you exclaim this all throughout your books and in your little Zionist, what they call those, as Zionists. The meetings. So why the hell wouldn't they need to go? And why? No, they're seeking refuge. Yeah, I know they're poor. They're like, people just hate them for like no reason, right? They're just jealous. They're jealous? No, it's always a scheme and a scam that people get robbed blind. It's not ever like a being on the up and up and doing business straight with anybody that causes that. They don't build or create anything. They co-opt and finagle and acquire things that aren't theirs at the expense of everyone else. In any minute now, they'll be poisoning your well. Hooray! Yes, they were all seeking refuge because they're criminals, because they're terrorists, because they're murderers, and that's that, Murderers from the beginning, one gentleman once said.
In 1896, Theodor Herzl wrote that a Jewish...
Yeah, another piece of shit who should have had his head chopped off and his body dismembered in full display of the public.
Homeland could theoretically be founded in Palestine or Argentina because Argentina was sparsely populated, had fertile land, and was open to immigration.
Hey, Jew. If you're not going to claim anything, if you're not going to be happy anywhere you are at the moment, and you're going to fuck with everybody that you're around, why the hell do you think you get to just up and say, oh, well, we'll take that? Who the fuck are you to say that? Zionist World Council, whatever the hell it was called.
So are these intentional fires in Argentina part of a globalist master plan to create a new Jewish ethno-state in the Americas?
Well, let's hope there's another round of fires once they all settle in.
Or are they started by garden variety bandits who are just trying to steal land? Wow, did that segment get a reaction? Almost 1 million views on social media. A former Argentine...
They were looking at your head. They don't even know a fucking word that you said, Matt. They were just looking at your really strange head.
In general, journalists and even locals were pinning blame on Israeli settlers who have a colonial interest in the region dating all the way back to the 1800s.
You know what he looks like? He looks like somebody who's like 500 pounds overweight, but he's not. But he has the head of somebody who is.
We weren't sure and brought on a journalist to discuss the strengths and weaknesses of this claim. The usual crowd of Israel First defenders decided that this was an issue that we as Americans aren't allowed to talk about. One Israel Firster said our coverage was unchecked, conspiratorial.
He's in this groid here. He went to the way black machine.
Anti-Semitism, and implied that I didn't belong on a legitimate and widely watched network like One American News. Well, the unchecked conspiratorial anti-Semitism may have infected even CNN. CNN Chile broke the news today that an Israeli citizen was arrested for, wait for it, setting fires in the Patagonia region. Yes, you're reading that right. The exact scenario that we described on Wednesday was just independently confirmed in the same region in a neighboring country by no less than CNN. We report the truth on this show without fear or favor. And there isn't anything we aren't allowed to talk about, debate, probe, and discuss.
He probes,
That's what
all right.
makes us worthy citizens in a country as special as the United States of America.
No, you're not citizens. You're civilians, okay? Don't be citizens. Civilians are civilized. Citizens are slaves. Don't fucking ever say that again.
Some in the left-wing media are freaking out over this new contract between us at OANN and
what the fuck?
YouTube
Is this a
TV.
commercial?
It's dangerous.
Shut up!
OANN
This all just a big ass commercial at the end? Wow. Okay. Where's the other one? Not that one yet. Not that.
Israel's a country of 9 million people, 1 million of whom have already gone back to the countries they hold passports from. Scores of thousands have fled to Cyprus with every intention of setting up home there. 300,000 are headed for Patagonia. Milei, the president of Argentina, his real name is Mileikowski.
That's what I said.
He said he converted to Judaism, but in fact, it's Judaism from which he came.
Right.
And he has set in motion a process where
If they're not fucking like illegitimate brothers, they're very closely related.
100,000 Israelis will become citizens of Patagonia. A new PLO may very well emerge. Milei is going to take 300,000. Greece, in the Greek islands, the Israelis are trying to buy. Cyprus, where they're just landing on the beach like refugees.
When the hell has Israel ever paid for land that they want? That doesn't sound right.
Refugees will soon be one of an archipelago of little Israels. Israel is a country that was 9 million people, but is rapidly declining. Donald Trump is decolonizing Palestine. I'm beginning to wonder whether he's a secret agent on our side. Certainly, if I'd been advising him to do the maximum damage to the power of the American empire, I'd have advised him to do exactly what he has been doing in your name, on your dime, with quite a few $1 billion in the back pocket of him, his family, and his friends.
Let's have a little fun. Does everybody do this? This is what the fuck is this? Everybody does this, huh? Don't do something that's unique or creative. Just steal someone else's idea and then play a character. Like that's what you do. If you're a fucking faggot, yeah, that's what you do.
Because time's running out. This is the real plan that's been running since the 1850s, and it's barreling toward World War III. Back then, they targeted two prizes: Palestine and Argentina. Palestine for control of the Middle East, Argentina, especially Patagonia, for a final refuge when the world.
Right, but that's all being organized and orchestrated through America, and it has been ever since the 1860s. So the strategic embassy / country / terrorist organization of Israel gave them a perfect seat in which to cause turmoil way the fuck over there while America hangs out here, knowing full well that the same pieces of shit run both territories, it's basically just the 51st state detached from us.
They took Palestine. Done. Now comes the Isaac Accords, Argentina's quiet surrender, turning it into an Israeli colony in all but name. Right now, they're burning Argentina down, wildfires everywhere, and buying the scorched land cheap. The tool, they're
literally a fire sale. Yeah, fire sale.
Fake NGO. That's backpackers without borders. So-called backpackers, like with maps and cameras, supposedly mapping trails. In reality, they're intelligence operatives.
So if you have an alternative lifestyle NGO, would that be a buy NGO or a BI NGO?
Marking targets, befriending locals while they plan which part of the Patagonia to burn next. Why? Because the deal is sealed. Milei told Netanyahu, "Mi casa es su casa." If Nuremberg-style trials ever come for Israel, they've got their escape hatch here, just like the Nazis had in the 1940s. And the end game?
No, they didn't. They didn't have it. Dude, I'm so fucking sick of this mistake that people make. They hated Germanic people. They wanted them all to die. Do you think anybody who was a true Nazi and not a mole, a true National Socialist and not a mole, survived? Do you remember how many people they starved to death in a fucking field? Why didn't they get to escape? Because you guys are missing the point here. The ones that were spirited away were working for the devil the whole freaking time. And there were quite a lot of those people, and that's why Germany got they got sabotaged. They had everything going for them, and they got sabotaged. So, they had an escape hatch. Yeah, is that why again, no, he did not. Hitler did not escape. He took his fate like a fucking man and died with his people. And then saying anything other than that is an insult to every other freaking action he did for his people all the way up to that moment.
War 3. Fallout winds blow east-west across the northern hemisphere, Europe, America, Asia. Devastated. Patagonia sits at the bottom of the planet, next to Antarctica. You do the math. They've got more in common with the Nazis than
National Socialists.
The perfect arc for the new empire, while the North.
See, this is again, like, you can say all these things bad about these bad guy Jews, and then you're like, yeah, and the Nazis were terrible. Really? They didn't do any of the shit that they were accused of, but they should have. And even if they did, you would be thanking them now. Number one. Number two. That you don't. How do you have both happening at the same time? How do you say they did these bad, evil things, and then still be like, well, the Jews have, these are big bad Jews too. Like, everything that they do is based on a lie. Everything that they're allowed to do and to get excuses for and get the sympathy for is based on a huge fucking lie. And you don't believe that that's a lie there, Mel, huh? Why aren't you pissed off at someone else then instead of just them? Like, I don't understand. At one way, you're like, these are the wrong, evil people. And the next thing, like, yeah, I totally validate all the bullshit that they say. What the fuck is that? What is that? How can both be the truth at the same time? Lying liars who lie, who most certainly have been lying and making people of the German ethnicity, the Germanic people, feel terrible about who they are for the last 80 years. You're on board with that. I guess he saw the pile of shoes. I mean, who can deny it?
Chokes on ash. So, this is it. Spread the word before the fires reach you and the bombs fall.
They have so much in common with the Nazis. Well, National Socialists. They do have everything in common with the Nazis, because the Nazis are neo-Nazis and they were created. The caricature was created by the EDL and the feds. So, yeah, that part is correct. The National Socialists have absolutely nothing in common with the Jews. The mass murdering Jews who poison wells. And remember Operation Cast Thy Bread? Or whatever the fuck it was called? The biggest victims of World War II were the Germans and the Russians. And what do they have in common? Both of them were hated by a certain group of pieces of shit. They went from trying to work with these. Then this is what happens, because the same thing with the U.S. when they're coming to a quote unquote agreement with Iran, then they sabotage that agreement and go for a war, or was that plan that they were meeting for actually the war itself? See, there's another thing you have to consider. More than likely, they do the Jew thing though, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's sit down and have a talk," and then they fucking whack you, like they did with Qatar. So Germany tries to help, tries to get them it's like, hey, win-win. You guys want them over there, we're gonna help you get them over there. Yeah, we'll make sure that, just like the Templars, we're gonna make sure that all of their wealth goes with them safely to Jerusalem. I mean, Palestine. Because it was the Templars that did the whole thing. That's what they call it, the Hospitallers and all that shit, right? So then it has a little bit of a falling out, the Havar agreement, when they keep fucking with Germany still. But these are the Poles at this point. The Jewish element are killing Germanic people, slaughtering them, and then blaming other people for it, as you know. And he had enough. He had to protect his people. And that, I mean, by 33 though, however, during the Havar, while he's working with the Zios, you have Judaism declares war from fucking Manhattan. Yeah, we declare war. Now go fight for us. Fuck you. Here you go. Get over there. You want? Go for it. Piece of shit.
Because time's running out.
Oh shit. It's happening all over again. So he just rambles. He's a fucking idiot too. Yes. There's one evil in this world. I know there's a potential for there to be more. I get that. But everything that they tell you is a fucking inversion of what reality is. I'm curious. What the fuck?
Remind me in 18...
That was loud. What the fuck was that? It's too loud. I don't want to hear it. Alright, well here's a bunch of the same thing over and over again, so I don't have to go through that. And half of it is in Spanish. The bravest adventure of all time, Magellan versus Patagonian giants. I'm sure that's totally rational. Definitely no skewing of well, hey, look, banana synthesizer. That would be Weird Al to say that, right? Another fucking freak. I went to see him in concert once because I took my stepson when he was little. He came right up to us in the audience. It's pretty funny. Are Israeli war vets behind Patagonia fires? Let's get back into the here first. Hello, Edward. Are you saying peace, bro? Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Or are you saying like hello? Like, peace be with you. How are you doing, Edward? Thank you for being a producer of the Ballbusters broadcast. Very, very much appreciated. And Edward Snowman says, and by apocalypse, they mean justice. The Jews, hey, nice. That was good. I saw that. Always need to escape justice. And I suppose the eye of justice is the eye of Sauron. To the eye of Sauron. Like it. And before reading, Habaru Malays. Yes. Yes. Habaru Shagaz, the cutthroats and bandits. A used grenade. Israeli made. Edward Snowman says, refugees from justice, aka fugitives. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Wait a good wordsmithing though there, huh? They do good with that. freaking mental gymnastics. Yes, I know. Argentina belongs to them already. The Jews. Oh, you like the bingo thing? Burn for reading. Dan Simmons came in with "fuck the Jews." And Edward Simmons says, "With a shoe collection that size, they deserve to be the venomous queen." All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see what we got over here. Nothing. We got nothing for sale. Let's see over here. That's it. Yep. Let's do one of these refreshes. All right. I think I'm done with that part. Castana was another whole topic. Let's have a look at this very blurry picture here for a moment. We might not watch all of it, but it's gray zone too, so it's another Jew doing Jew things. A Jew. Yes, the parasitic cult who has pretenders that are pretending to be in opposition to them, and you tell me, sure, well, let's keep falling for that trick where there's good ones. Let's do that. It must be a thing. Like, if they're all spawned out of the same pit of hell and they're demons, you're like, wait a minute, that one's not chewing on the head of a baby. He might be all right. Maybe we can talk to him. Maybe we can find a common ground. Just because he haven't chewed on your head yet doesn't mean he won't.
Fueled by what officials describe as the worst drought since 1957.
Oh, wait. Are we talking about swallowing up water for freaking data centers in Argentina, too? That's good.
This is not a single blaze, but multiple fires igniting across different areas, together constituting a wildfire season of historic proportions. Governor Ignacio Torres, speaking to the press, described the situation as one of the most aggressive fires in the history of the province.
The enunciation, when they're accenting words, it's just... Yeah.
While announcing partial containment, he claimed that a group of these
I feel like I'm in Tijuana now.
Mapuche activists have been caught red-handed, starting one of the fires. However, despite these official declarations...
They just talk like they're already tired. Like, it's like, did you fall asleep in your tequila? Would you... Come on, bro. Grab a coffee or something. However...
The environment, eager to repeat them.
It's like a winding down. It's like... This is what I hear.
Many local resident points to another group with a record of similar previous incidents.
You know how, like, when the old time photo, like movies, when their hand crank, well, they go faster on the down, so then like the film speeds up, and then it goes kind of like more like normal because the person cranking isn't being consistent with the speed that he's turning it. Because obviously, when you're going downward, it's easier, so you have gravity on your side. And then you come up a little bit, and it's like, okay, this is... And then it goes like that, and then it's like... And then it goes like that. This is how they talk. They talk like that.
Suspicions. Israeli tourists. For many of those locals...
She must have been the only person in Argentina that day. Because everybody's reusing her statement. She was the only person. Everybody in Argentina is upset. Same woman every time.
Quickly escalated.
This place was our paradise, and they burned it. They abandoned us, and destroyed everything. Now they're trying to sell off Patagonia to the Jews. Everyone here knows.
Well, I don't want to break it to you, but you have a president that's a Jew. What did you think was going to happen? You know what you could do about that, right? I'd rather you guys do that. Tell Brazil to do the same. Just whoever they are. You know, Brazil's all fucked up too.
Knows it. It's full of Israelis buying
and
up
Mexico.
Land, and no one does anything. The only ones resisting are those who lost everything. They left us completely alone.
Reports of their presence and alleged involvement initially circulated as rumors.
That's because how dare you just assume that just because there's a fire and a poisoned well and a bunch of vaccines sticking out of your baby, that it was some Jew that did it. Oh wait, it was some Jew that did it. Okay, point taken.
And we just found this handful of gas.
But quickly spread to a protest in Buenos Aires. Particularly after a video emerged in which a local mountain guide allegedly recorded a group of Israeli tourists starting a fire. To learn more,
yes, as in tourists, they were saying these what was it Hitchpackers Without Borders, Backpackers Without Borders, probably both.
About these allegations and their broader implications, we spoke with
We always wear helmets when we go hiking, don't you? Stop judging.
Argentine journalist Sebastián Salgado.
This week, a video surfaced in which a local Argentine resident recorded Israeli soldiers setting a fire in a prohibited area. For the first time, there is cell phone footage capturing the exact moment the fire was started.
You can't make a fire. You can't make a fire anywhere. There are many fires around, many fires. Pack up your camp and put out the fire.
The young man who recorded the video gave a striking account of the incident.
He's the one that cries.
To keep his distance.
Did you see the one that cried? I think it's the same dude. He starts crying afterward.
Because of one of the individuals involved. Although the person did not speak Spanish, when the young man approached, the individual kept a hand behind his back, as if threatening to pull a weapon. The witness said he wanted to confront them about what they were doing. At the same time, he noticed several other people hiding behind trees in the area, while he was alone. Despite this, the recording...
That was a good bluff because Jews are evil, and they would have gang raped him before eating him. So it's a good thing he pretended like he had a firearm, because they are also cowards, even though they would gang rape you. I honestly think that they're chupacabras. We keep calling them demons. I think they might be chupacabras because they're the goat suckers. Historically, the Gothic Aryan people were called the goats, right? That was their totem, and they suck us dry. They suck out our life force. So it could just be symbolic because they're little fucking vampires, right? So they might be the chupacabra. I think that's what they are. Not to mention the jesters, the jinn, everything that's fucked up and wicked. Oh yeah, that points back to the top. Dude, the devil. The devil, what does he look like? Look at him. When they depict him in pictures and cartoons and stuff like that. Long jaw, long chin, big ass nose, sticks out.
This footage is significant.
The same thing as a jester. Just saying. The same thing as a jester. And where do you think clowns came from?
Only because it provides concrete evidence of what has long been denounced, that Israeli soldiers, disguised as tourists, are intentionally starting fires, but also because it exposes
It makes sense too, because of Loki, the mischief maker, right? But his mischief was like convincing you to kill your own children. Oh, gee, kind of like when you are being convinced that that's how you have to save your community and their harvest with the fertility cult. By burning your child and passing them through fire. Or how you have to keep the gods happy so that they don't allow the Romans to come through Carthage. Yeah, like that. Yeah, kind of like that, right? Jeez, it's funny that it's no wonder that Loki and Baldur would be the same person. You know, and that he was the inspiration for that to be turned into something more mythological later.
Trail of corruption in the cover-up being provided by the Argentine government. Otherwise, authorities would be compelled to investigate and pursue those responsible. It should be noted that for the Argentine state, identifying the group of accused tourists would be relatively straightforward. The incident therefore offers important evidence and clues, suggesting that the government of Javier Milei is also implicated in enabling or shielding those responsible.
Governor Torres also linked the fire to the eviction a year ago of what he described as an unregistered Mapuche group from a national park. An area he says they did not legally own and were occupying.
A busy box. That just sounds like that girl that you know in the town. You know her. You always said to yourself, if I get desperate enough, I always, at least that one's gonna be easy.
Torres also directly linked the incident to an alleged arson attack on industrial and mining vehicles parked outside Estancia Amancay.
Good.
A few days after the eviction a year ago. However, an anonymous note sent to a community radio station later allegedly claimed responsibility for the arson attack in the name of an alleged Mapuche group resisting a decade-long process of land sales in Patagonia to foreign billionaires such as Joe Louis and Luciano Benetton, each of whom own hundreds of thousands of acres.
Wow.
Lands that many local Mapuche
They don't deserve this. They're just going to shit it up and fucking destroy it. They hate nature. Obviously, as you can tell by their choice to fucking burn it first. Look at this place. Those waters will be poisoned. Do not. I mean, we're all going to die here in America because of them if we allow it to happen. They've already extremely poisoned everything. And yes, it's them. Unfortunately, them is representative in every aspect of government, every agency, everything. So it's them extended. Them extended is all their fellow travelers and their funky friends who are doing their bidding because of stupidity, deals, the lack of a soul, whatever the case may be. So it's not just them, but with their banking central power hub destroyed, they would be nothing. Just saying. So I've always said, if ever there's two sides about to get engaged into a war again, stop shooting at each other and aim your missiles at the banks, aim your missiles at the IMF, aim your missiles at the BIS, aim your missiles at all the fucking Rockefeller and Rothschild homes in the fucking world. Davos, Bern, Switzerland. Bern is just a Kinderfresser. That would kind of be a waste of ammo. But, lots of other places. Basel, at least for the Bank of International Settlements. Hey, throw a few in the old Federal Reserve over here and do us a solid. Hit that UN and the CFR as well, if you don't mind. And while you're at it, CDC, World Health Organization, and all that good stuff. All right. And drop one on Carrie Madej's house, too.
Their ancestral territory. This specific anonymous note is one of the main pieces of evidence cited by Governor Torres to justify a series of violent raids and intelligence gathering operations against several Mapuche communities, as well as to
I'm assuming Mapuche is like a native of Argentina, and they're being rolled into this somehow and demonized. I think it sounds like an excuse to like exterminate or remove them ahead of time before the 300,000 Jews settle. So yeah, it's them starting the fires. Must be.
The blame for the current fires on quote-unquote Mapuche groups. However, Torres failed to mention that the suspect apprehended by police after the attack...
Jew! What the fuck? What are you doing?
And publicly branded as responsible for the arson was later released after it was corroborated that she was nowhere near the site at the time of the incident.
That's good.
Leaving the case unresolved. Former Security and Interior Minister and current Congresswoman Patricia Bullrich.
Hold on. I'm not just going to say that, but look at the fucking face. Hold on. Because, they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you the truth for sure. If you need the truth, I always say, ask a Jew. And then invert it. And then you'll know somewhat closer to the truth. Senator of Argentina. Let's see, Senator of Argentina. Maybe you are a freaking grubby native. Let's see. Doesn't mean you can't be paid off. I just saw some facial features that got me a little curious. But with that face, side face, that looks very, that could be mixed though. She comes from a wealthy, traditional Argentine family with Spanish, French, Irish, and German roots. Yeah, okay. All right, fair enough. Could be. Doesn't mean they're good people. I'm just.
Took to X to threaten Mapuche groups with terrorism charges.
You're right. So she's working for that. She's working for the evil.
Reminding the public that the organization,
rich people don't like natives. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Known as RAM or Mapuche Ancestral Resistance, had already been designed as terrorist group.
I think I'm gonna go join the Mapuche. It's totally worth saving that territory over there. Nobody else wants to help over here. Fuck them. They have groups over there.
Both Torres and Bullrich are steadfast.
Look at that fucking disgusting frog head or whatever it is, turtle head. What is that? Look at her freaking doing the freaking old handshake, the with the freaking Milikowski. God damn it. See, they turn on everybody. They turn on fucking everybody. They're all part of the same cult.
Of President Javier Milei.
Sí, el gobernador Nacho Torres es una persona.
Speak American!
Nacho Torres is someone who, from the very beginning of his campaign, travelled to Israel to receive guidance. This is clearly documented. He even travelled with his security minister. One has to ask, why would the governor of an Argentine Patagonian province need his security minister present while receiving instructions in Israel before even taking office? They themselves made this public on their social media.
La estrategia es bastante parecida a la que usan en Palestina, es culpar a los mapuches de incendiar su propio territorio.
The strategy closely resembles what is used in Palestine, blaming the Mapuche people for setting fires on their own land, labeling them as terrorists, and carrying out arbitrary raids and arrests, even in areas where Israeli soldiers have been documented starting the fires. The objective is to force Mapuche communities to abandon their territories, then raid the few who remain, arresting them and accusing them of burning their own homes. This shows how these situations are being orchestrated.
Yeah. You're burning your own homes. That's something that Jews do. And that's usually because there's insurance to be had. I don't think Mapuche are burning their own homes. You did it! The fuck? Victim blaming.
A Jewish woman.
Hey, wait, why don't we victim blame the Jews? Because they're always the victims. Jew fraudulently sues right to the return to the land white nationalists. See this Michelle cunt right here? She looks very closely to the other demon Jew bitch who called in Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon and told the Jews in New York that they were rabid. Why? Because she has psychic powers from Texas. That's why. And guess what? Her psychic powers were accepted as goddamn fact. So they chopped off the head of little Peanut and Fred. They didn't observe them for 10 days. They didn't do any of this shit. They just went, stole them, and chopped off their heads because of their pseudoscience, sorcery bullshit, pretending that there's a virus there. So that's how they check after the fact. They cut off their heads and crack open the skulls and like, oh yeah, look at that. It's can't find it. Oh well. Put him back together. See if he starts moving again. No? All right. I guess we'll just throw him in the trash then.
Aquí se ve de qué manera se está articulando.
It has been widely reported that Patagonia is one of the destinations where a group of Israeli soldiers regularly travel while on leave, creating a constant flow of ideas.
Well, what should have happened for years and years leading up to this is that every time they landed, they should have been found floating down those rivers. Where was everybody? They would have stopped going. They would have stopped going if every time they went there, they didn't come back. Who traveled to Tel Aviv? You mean Miami? With other Argentinians to accompany the genocidal troops. Yes. Every time they showed up there, that was your chance. Argentine Rabbi Yossi Baumgarten. Yeah, bomb everything. Fuck it all. Kill him. who traveled to Tel Aviv with other Argentinians to accompany our genocidal troops. Right, because it's a demonic cult. All of this is, it's not unsavory or unfavored by the cult that they kill children. It's actually exactly what they demand. Read their books. Or just listen to them. Exclaim it out loud.
Camping and moving throughout the region. There are also numerous reports of incidents in which these
those are the fudge packers without borders.
Ignore or directly disrespect local residents and even local authorities, who often back down, aware that these groups are protected not only by the Argentine federal government, but also by powerful interests, given the significant influence of Zionist organizations in Argentina. Just this week, in January 14, a French-Israeli citizen was arrested for violating fire regulation, specifically for lighting a cigarette. The incident remains under investigation, and the individual is required to return to court. While this is not a major incident in itself, when viewed along a number of similar reports and the fire that occurred in the same park in 2014, it has prompted Chilean authorities to enact tougher measures. This stands in contrast to the approach taken by Argentine authorities in this regard. Salgado's and many others' working assumption is that, no longer protected by past restrictions of natural park laws, Patagonia's land is being deliberately burned so it can be eventually sold for cheap, clearing the way for future development and settlement.
Este tipo de situaciones que conllevan también la presencia de la empresa israelí Mekorot.
With the involvement of the Israeli company Coro, which has been stealing water from Palestinians for decades, and is now firmly established across Argentina, particularly in Patagonia. With the complicity of governors who travel to Israel for instructions and the backing of corporate media, authorities attempt to sustain a narrative that is increasingly losing credibility.
Con el apoyo de los medios corporativos intentan mantener esta retórica que cada vez más va perdiendo sentido.
But the narrative has shifted over the past week, as they realize that people in Argentina have become aware of what we have been denouncing for so long. Now, accusations that Israeli soldiers are setting fires in Patagonia are framed as anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic, following a familiar playbook.
Esta es una acción antijudía, antisemita y todo ese protocolo que ya les conocemos tanto.
In reality, this issue now extends beyond the Argentine Republic and is being examined and exposed by analysts and communicators around the world.
Comunicadores de todo el mundo están acompañando con la visibilización.
In our previous interview, which viewers interested in this issue should definitely revisit, link below, you mentioned that there have already been other instances in which IDF soldiers were accused of starting fires. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and about why it's not the first time that they have been directly implicated?
Bueno, de la que hay más evidencia es en Torres del Paine porque el soldado Rottensinger fue capturado, ¿sí? Y fue encarcelado por las autoridades chilenas. El problema es que
one of the most documented cases occurred in Torres del Paine, where an Israeli soldier, Rottensinger, was captured and briefly imprisoned by Chilean authorities. As the power structure protecting him became visible, it also became clear that the Chilean judiciary, like its Argentine counterpart, is subject to Zionist influence. In 2014, Singer burned an estimated 50,000 hectares of Torres del Paine National Park. He entered through an illegal crossing, apparently to avoid leaving official records of where the fires were started. Although he was detained, the judicial outcome amounted to a negotiation, a proposed payment of just $7,000 for the destruction of tens of thousands of hectares of native forest. As far as is known, even that amount was never paid. In effect, an irreparable national park ecosystem was destroyed for the equivalent of a minor fine. Today, Rottensinger is reportedly a prominent businessman in Israel. This is the only case that has ever reached court.
De bosque nativo que no se recupera. Y bueno, esto es parte de una realidad que se vive a los dos lados de la frontera. Hoy Rottensinger es un prominente empresario en Israel.
So, despite relevant present and past incidents, according to the Argentinian government, it is unfair to accuse, detain, and investigate Israeli tourists that were allegedly caught in the act. But it's totally fair to detain and investigate Mapuche groups for similar present and past incidents. Very interesting. Let's see. Rottensinger was taken to court for specifically burning a forest. And on the other hand, the Mapuche alleged attack a year ago was not a forest fire, but an
Thank you. I had to switch over my laundry. All right, let's see. Speedy Gonzalez reporting. Yeah. Definitely Jupacabras. Nice. Hey, Bushmaster. What's up, buddy? Dan Simmons says, all those unfortunate animals add another nation where kikes were kicked from. Yep. And then they exact their revenge. Here in the USA, we've got infinitely... we have... Is it supposed to be infinitely with an L? It says we've got infinity. Poor empty Mammonites trying to fuss themselves into existence. Dan Simmons says, you just know those IDF faggots are tempted to shoot those native children. It's their nature to kill innocents. Of course. Burn Before Reading says, hi. Thank you. Thank you very much, Burn Before Reading. Very kind of you guys. Appreciate it. However, back to the video. This is Gray Zone. You know who? I'll just tell you. I'll let you read it, actually. Damn it. Why? Why? Because I'm looking over my... Yeah, okay, so the Gray Zone. The Gray Zone is... What's his name? It's what the hell's his name? I'll just have to look it up now. Yeah, Max Blumenthal. That fucker. So he's a Jew. Him and his wife or something like that are like the two. Editor-in-chief of the Gray Zone, Max Blumenthal. Isn't what? So like the 5 Jews that are actually not child-killing baby eaters or whatever. Yeah, we don't mean to offend you guys because you guys aren't actually in the cult. But the moment you put a yarmulke on, I guarantee you'll change that and you'll become a child eater too. Put the tiny hat on since the end of it, because then you're in the supremacy cult. This fucker right here. This is the guy. This is the owner of the Gray Zone. That's what this is, even though it's some other reporter doing the thing that we're watching. Not that. Not that. This GZ. He's 2 years older than me. You son of a bitch. Republican Gomorrah, 2009. The 51-Day War and Management of Savagery. This is Sydney. Let's see what's up with this motherfucker right here. American journalist, political operative, and Abraham Lincoln scholar. What a piece of shit. A former aide to President Bill Clinton. Bigger piece of shit. He is a longtime confidant of Hillary Clinton. Horrific piece of shit. And was formerly employed by the Clinton Foundation. Jesus fucking Christ. That's his dad. I'm sure he didn't fall too far from the tree. So you can already tell this is just controlled op bullshit, right? That proved me wrong. Don't understand why you have blue eyes if you're a Jew, but whatever. It doesn't matter. You guys mix with the Germanic and Gothic Aryan type a lot, just so you don't have to keep on fucking each other, your sisters and shit. So I mean, who knows? Yeah, let's go back to it. All I'm saying is, although this is probably good reporting and true, I understand where it's coming from. This is also the guy who said, no, it was totally Israel that did Charlie Kirk. Very true, but still, you're still not lame as Blumenthal, and now we know why you own the fucking gray zone. Because your daddy already made you rich. You got to play in life. You didn't have to like figure out what the hell you're gonna do to survive. Isn't that nice? Hey, I'll play journalist. Yay. I'll have my own opinions. Sure you will. Your dad's part of the fucking Clinton Foundation. The biggest child killing, trafficking pieces of shit on the planet. Yeah. Remember that whole Haiti thing? Yeah. Okay.
An attack on trucks and tractors. At the same time, Singer's case was in 2014, almost a decade ago, more than a decade ago. Are there other newer instances of fires started by IDF soldiers or Israeli tourists?
Es solo una que haya sido judicializada. Después hay muchos relatos. Hoy mismo
This is the only case that has ever reached court. Since then...
All right, hold on a second. The other guy's speaking English. Obviously, if he's responding without... doesn't sound like... Unless we just don't hear his translator. Maybe we just don't hear his translator. But if he's speaking English and the other guy's answering, why doesn't he just answer in English? Is it just to piss everybody off?
Numerous other accounts have emerged. Just this week, first-hand testimony from Patagonia described a heavy presence of Israeli soldiers. One local resident attempted to access a section of Lake Puello he has visited since childhood, only to find a large portion of the shoreline occupied by Israeli soldiers. As he approached via a narrow path, someone attempted to intimidate him into turning back. He continued. When he reached the shore, the soldiers, men and women, turned toward him in unison and began singing in Hebrew. Though he did not understand the words, the coordinated gestures made clear he was being confronted, as if to signal that the area was now under their control. This reflects a reality that is increasingly coming into view, partly because fear has diminished amid the devastation caused by the fires, and partly because the scale of the genocide against the Palestinian people has exposed what Zionism is capable of, where it seeks to establish colonies.
Judaism. Judaism, yes. Zionism is the guys out front. All the Jews benefit from them. It's all part of the same goddamn cult. Punishing of... Oh, yeah. They'll keep rereading and rereading and reading into that Old Testament of theirs, which is not even... Calling it the Old Testament and not the Tanakh is actually already misleading, because it's like, oh, so they're related, because there's one called the Old and the one called the New. No. 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 They're pieces of shit, fabrications. That's what they are. Lies. But, because they're envious and hateful, and had a lot of time to think about it when they were in Greece, living rather well, and still just begrudging and hateful because they're the cult that feels like they should be dominating the entire world, because they feel like they did at one point before we came along, and they want everything that we've introduced into the world to be taken away from it, like, I don't know, morality, justice, order, monotheism, what's that other big thing? Oh yeah, agriculture. So being able to feed yourself, because they want to be able to starve whoever they want to starve. This is what was happening prior to Adam Thor and his group showing up and seeing what they were doing in Karshemish. And he said, just like kind of the other guy with the tiny mustache said, you know what, fuck it, enough is enough. We tried living around you, we tried working around you, and all you do is attack us, attack us, attack us. So we're killing you now. That's it. You're done. You're out of here. We're gonna cut the head off the snake, and then we'll rehabilitate all the other people who are not child killers. And then if they can handle society with us, they'll benefit from all of our innovations. And Sumeria was born. But yeah.
Cases exist in which Israeli soldiers are suspects.
All of them have the Bolshevik mind. All of them. Just because some of them are playing a different role doesn't mean that they won't. And when the moment strikes, do you think Blumenthal is going to be having to hide in a bunker or run for his life? No. He'll be eating babies with everybody else.
One has been prosecuted. Many never reach trial. Locals report incidents, individuals are briefly detained and then shielded by authorities. What emerges is a well-oiled structure that consistently guarantees impunity.
Hay evidentemente ahí toda una estructura muy aceitada donde ellos se garantizan su propia impunidad.
I just watched a video where a Palestinian makes a comparison between Argentina now and Palestine a century ago, right?
Now that I'm seeing what's going on in Argentina, I'm starting to second guess. Like, are they making it a getaway for Israelis? Are they trying to make it a second colony? What's going on? I'm not even trying to sugarcoat it. You guys live on one of the most beautiful pieces of land on earth. And if you don't protect it, I'm telling you, this has happened to us. They will take it from you.
So what this Palestinian is suggesting is that eventually that process will be repeated. And they will eventually, once they are in Patagonia, drive the local natives out of that land, right? Which sounds far-fetched. Normally, it would sound far-fetched. But there's this little precedent that initially it was either going to be Palestine or Patagonia when they chose where to found Israel. So they're not pulling this out of thin air. And there's also the old rumor about the Andinia plan, right? On which then Army Chief General Roberto Bendini warned about alleged Israeli intentions to seize Patagonia through covert operations disguised as tourism and NGO work. He did so in front of a class of military, allegedly, as it was reported at the time, and it caused a huge uproar. So, what do you think about these other aspects that are being raised here? Is this a conspiracy theory?
Sí, eso es parte de una realidad. O sea, acá no caben teorías conspiranoicas ni nada. Lo que vos mencionabas es el...
I mean, there is no room for conspiracy theories here. What you mentioned is, let's say, the structure of the International Zionist Project, laid out in the book presented at the Basel Congress in 1890 by Theodor Herzl, The Jewish State. In that book, two possible locations for the establishment of a Jewish state are outlined, and those places are precisely Palestine and Argentina. This is important to remember, and the person in the video makes it very clear. I do not think Palestine was ever chosen in order to abandon the Argentine project. There is very clear evidence that there were extremely significant projects of Jewish autonomy within Argentine territory. At the end of the 19th century, Argentine authorities themselves promoted this. If migrants were seen as white and European, they were welcomed and even given the possibility of pursuing their own autonomy. There is the case of Maurice de Hirsch, and there is also the case in Tierra del Fuego involving Julius Popper, who was at the same time a genocidal figure against the indigenous peoples of Argentina. He arrived with a regiment of more than 100 people under the pretense of searching for gold, when in reality he was seeking autonomy for the province of Tierra del Fuego through a new city he founded, called Atlanta. All the historical records of this exist, but attempts have been made to alter the meaning of that history.
Tierra del Fuego? That's hilarious. Okay, that's the same place that Thomas Malthus visited, and so did, what is his name? Charles Darwin. Both described the people as, like, hopelessly backward retarded and half starving to death and just useless. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, but when they described that, they didn't even have the sense to put on clothes when it was cold. And I was like, well, that's the type of thing, that's the type of stupid that'll work itself out, right? Because if they don't survive and they don't know how to build shelter and they huddle, they like, eventually won't they just stop existing?
Portraying Popper as a kind of naturalist or adventurer. In reality, he is unique in the history of the genocide against indigenous peoples, here in that he was photographed with the indigenous people he murdered, posing with his Remington and Winchester rifles against...
Not 100% sure I'm really upset about that. I'm just saying.
Bows and arrows, like a hunter standing over big game. These photographs are easily accessible and can be found online. At the time, Popper himself sent them to Juárez Celman, the Argentine president then in office, who was, to say the least, aware of this autonomy project. This was around the period when Popper travelled to Buenos Aires and later died under rather strange circumstances.
Asesinaba con su Remington, con su Winchester contra arcos y flechas, y posa como quien posa sobre un animal de caza mayor, ¿sí? Esas son fotografías que cualquiera puede encontrar en internet muy rápido porque él se las enviaba.
What the Palestinian streamer says is therefore absolutely true. If only it were possible to go back in time and warn those who believed there could be peaceful coexistence between the Zionist project and the Palestinian Arab and Muslim population, and who perhaps did not resist in the way they should have. The suffering of the new generations of Palestinians today, the infanticide that Israel is carrying out against them, makes it clear that we, as adult Argentines of this moment, bear responsibility for defending our territory and our resources for future generations. Because evidently it is our turn. We are the ones who will one day be asked about that moment when Israeli soldiers began to intimidate the Argentine population, while it was said to be merely a project.
Exactly.
El sufrimiento de las nuevas
It's happening
generaciones
again.
palestinas de este momento, el infanticidio que Israel lleva adelante contra todos ellos.
Why didn't they do more? Well, here we are. And I
Send them back to the oblast and then torch it.
Tell you, Oscar, that this is...
How about we poison their waters?
...is taking on dimensions it has never had before. I produced what is essentially the first report of its kind, which I shared with you. One of them is titled Backpackers of Zion. There is no previous record in Argentina featuring first-person testimony about the actions of Israeli soldiers in Patagonia. There is nothing like the footage I recorded outside the Onda Azul Hotel, which forms part of the structure through which Israeli troops pass through Argentina, disguised...
Could you imagine going on vacation, going hiking in this beautiful area, and you run into fucking IDF with your kids around you, hiking? You don't... Remember, you're traveling. You don't have your... Because if on site, I would have fucking shot the nigger. I'm sorry, but if I see child killers coming anywhere near my child, I'm going to go as quickly as possible. I'm going to think.
As backpackers. At the same time, I witnessed the activation of numerous protocols against me, many of them surprisingly operating under the guise of Palestinian activism. People presenting themselves as activists for the Palestinian cause began discrediting my work, labeling it a conspiracy theory to claim that Zionism has a project in Argentine Patagonia, deliberately conflating it with what you mentioned earlier, the Andinia Plan. There is much debate about whether the...
Oh, and by the way, O'Keefe is part of that bullshit too. Oh, I'm for the Palestinians. Who's paying you?
Andinia Plan originated during the dictatorship, or whether the dictatorship itself had a position on Zionism. For me, the only thing that matters about the Argentine dictatorship is that it murdered 30,000 of my compatriots, regardless of religion. Most were Christians, and there is no need to speculate further. What matters is the reality we are living today. There is a clear project of autonomy and occupation that begins with control over water, continues with control of land, and has already penetrated all three branches of government. The judicial branch works in their favour. The legislative branch...
And why is that? Because of the banking. That's how they get their clutches in. And then the fucking weasel demons follow. And you just have to keep on doing what you're doing, because the devil is never satisfied. You should have never done business with him in the first place. You should have never signed the first contract. Hey, you know how the devil... Why did I say merchandising? Oh, I know why. Hold on a second. That's awesome. It actually worked. It said merchandising. Did you guys hear it? Hold on. I know why. It's over here. Bill the Butcher resubscribed for 2 months. Thank you, Bill the Butcher. That's awesome. And then it said merchandising. Oh, look. That's awesome. Thank you. That actually works. I haven't heard that one in a while, so I wasn't sure. I fixed the audio so it didn't double. I should have been louder, though. That's cool. Thank you, sir. Let's go back to this. What was I in the middle talking about? I forgot. Shit. Never mind.
Largely due to Millet's electoral victory, is now aligned.
Oh yeah, the banking shit. The devil in the contract. That's all you see in cartoons. You always see the devil in the contract. Oh, you just sign your soul. Contracts. Would it? It's like it doesn't. You don't need to have some metaphysical, mythological, pointy-tailed fucker who, you know, the standing upright chupacabra devil to know exactly who they're referring to when they're talking about contracts, right? Everything that's in the commercial is the corporate and the commercial, corporate law, commercial law, commerce. This is merchant shit, right? Oh yeah, you mean like their territory? Mm-hmm. And what? How does that go? It's transactional and it's contracts. Contracts for fucking everything that you purchased. Yeah, right. What do they always say? What does a good dad always say? Don't read everything and don't sign it. Be leery of contracts. So they're like, okay, yeah, we don't use the paper anymore. Here's the terms of service instead. Here's a TOS. Just click OK. You don't even have to put your signature on it. It's totally not a contract. Totally not. So they already know your name. They already know your shit because it's already your account that you're saying yes to. Oh, by the way, we updated those. Wait a minute. How do you get permission to update a contract when the terms were already agreed upon to be this, but now you already have my agreement, so then you change the terms? What? And they tell you that, oh yeah, and by the way, part of that is we're doubling your monthly subscription, your monthly fee to this and that and the other thing. And we're quadrupling it now because, oh yeah, by the way, we're bought out by some other conglomerate that's now also part of BlackRock. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. That's how it went with my website. They fucking subpar bullshit service, and they don't even have a real crew on board to answer any questions. Yet they charge me more than double from the time that I first started using them. All contracts. The devil, contracts, Jews. Jews, whenever you see contracts, you see a happy merchant getting all excited because he's about to fuck you, and he's about to get the permission to fuck you. And then he's going to be say, look at the contract. And then our stupid minds are like, oh yeah, we did agree. Just like we have too much respect for water, that's why we don't poison theirs. Eventually, dirty tactics. I don't give a fuck. Get rid of them. Stop them in their tracks. Oh, it's not right to just go ahead and destroy their property. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. They've destroyed lives all across the fucking whatever they call this little ice skating rink area that we call all of the world. Yeah. They've killed and poisoned and slaughtered and convinced people to get poison injected directly into them and take chemotherapy, mustard gas. They got everything that anything you can think of and conceive of, they have it coming. And then worse. But you just haven't thought of what's worse. Keep thinking. Coming up with ideas of what you would do to them, and then they deserve that too. Okay? Don't feel bad. What's a Rockefeller one less home? What's a Rothschild one less home, or one less bank, or one less Bank of International Settlements? It's called a free world. Why can they creep up into these countries they have no business being in? Because of the freaking banks. And whenever I say that, I am seeing and envisioning in my head the first one, the Bank of England. And that loan to William Vorge, and how that basically indebted and enslaved and imprisoned most of the United Kingdom. And then you had, of course, later on, 1913, the one they planted here, which that it was a nail. It was the nail into our forehead, into the coffin.
As well. Milei himself is not merely someone who has agreements with Israel. He is a political product.
He's a fucking
of
G.
the Chabad
Yeah, Shabbat.
Lubavitch sect.
Right. The most evil of the evil. So is Trump. The most evil of the evil. The most evil of the evil. Let me say that again. The ones that come up and grab your children and pull them into a fucking sewer. Those kind. Those ones who are doing literal Jewish magic, utilizing dead bodies and blood and all kinds of shit. That's who you're dealing with, and they don't bathe, but they like to play with groundwater when they're doing their rituals. Kind of like that piece of shit, Brother Nathaniel, who pretends he's not still a Jew. That guy, because he wears a costume and rhymes every word like a retard.
This same network financed figures such as Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of Robert Maxwell, a
Rhymes
Mossad
every line, I guess, not every word.
figure, who helped build the structure of political blackmail through Jeffrey Epstein. These actors now exercise real power in Argentina, generating unprecedented measures, including allowing Israeli citizens to receive pensions funded by the Argentine state.
But does that sound familiar? That's when the people see all these things are offenses, yes. And when you understand that it's corrupt and it's you're just the nuisance in the way, and they're going to force you to be the slave that gives them money. You already are the slaves of the Jews, don't you see? You're not waiting for 2,800 slaves. They're not waiting for that. They already have you. They're just pretending like they don't. You already are. You're paying the taxes. You're creating their lavish lifestyle. You're paying for their $1.5 million homes in freaking Lakewood. For their 10 fucking children that they're allowed to, that they can afford because they're being paid by your taxes again. You're raising their children. Oh, speaking of reparations, blacks. Let me make something clear to you real quick. If just give me a moment. You actually have a backlog on what you owe back because number one, it wasn't us, it was the Jews. Number two. What do you call every social every social service? What do you call your food stamps, your SNAP, your welfare? What do you call those? Aren't reparations? Are you sure? Are you sure? What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, no, you've got plenty, and we've overpaid, especially since it wasn't even us. So fuck you. Okay.
In other words, individuals born and raised in Israel are granted retirement pensions paid for by the Argentine population. The volume and severity of these policies...
Oh yeah, don't you go to college for free too if you have a nigga that actually can read half a fucking sentence? Yeah? He can control his impulses for a little bit longer than the average droid? That's good. That's good. Yeah, they totally deserve that. Let's celebrate everybody who does everything that's mediocre. Let's see. Shit, I'm late to the dance, y'all. And where someone says, "Let the goyim deal with the real world. We don't need we don't need reality. We've got a sacrifice mob of impunity, a sacrifice mob too big to fail." Hear how synchronized we all are? It almost seems like knowledge, doesn't it? Christopher Lee Settler says, "I think that general was correct." Oh, I knew, girl. Patagonia seems to be team liberal of the Jewish folk. Far-fetched to believe they're writing the folklore of fascism, or is this the new pseudo-fascism? What? What are you talking about? Yeah, imagine visiting that beautiful place only on the set of the blaze. Argentinians need to learn from the Palestinians that didn't destroy the Kikes when they had them outnumbered. Right. Right.
Think white.
Whoa!
Serious.
I got beeped again. That one was a little blocky, but that's good. I heard that one. Edward Snow says, "I heard vocational science of freedom called judges the black-robed priests of El." Yeah, I always thought, the ones that wear the dress and sit on the bench. Yeah, we've called them that. We called them black-robed priests before. And we didn't call them El, but that's cool that you said that. Well, now you got to ask yourself, did he know that El was a female? Or did he think they were talking about the Yahweh thing. Criminal court system. Court entails a lord, ball perhaps as general. Yeah, let's see, terms. Oh, and conditions apply. Who's the criminal is my question, at least half the time. Oh yeah, I can get rid of these, can't I? Please. Bye. Video. Remember, we're all Hezbollah sympathizers now because we don't like Jews killing people. Before we were Hamas sympathizers. Oh yeah, remember that Haman thing? That guy? Remember that guy from that Book of Esther Ahasuerus story where he tried to protect the kingdom? And the king turned on him because he wanted to keep fucking Esther. You remember that? Yeah. He's Sharmuta. So yeah, Mordecai and Esther are like, yeah, well, we're demonic beings here, so we want to rape and murder lots of people. We want to kill. So first, let's hang all of Haman's sons because that's totally legitimate, and then we'll call everybody else in the kingdom Haman's sympathizers, and we'll go murder them all. What do you say, King? And then she raises her. She shows a little bit of her J-Lo butt to him, and he says, "Okay, yeah." Whores, I tells you.
These overwhelm the public, preventing serious debate. That is why those of us engaged in analysis must contribute tools so more people understand the scale of what is happening. What is new and unprecedented is that next Saturday, an openly anti-Zionist demonstration will be held in front of the Argentine Congress. No political party flags will be allowed, only Argentine flags. The purpose is to exchange information, break fear, and confront the anti-Semitism protocols, signed by former President Alberto Fernandez, that have been used to silence dissent.
I know he said Fernandez, but I just was thinking of Dead Alive. Oh, Fernando! Remember when your grandma, so your mother ate my dog?
Palestinian activists have been killed here, such as Christian Diaz. Legislators like Vanina Diaz face prosecution for demonstrating in support of Palestine. A federal judge in Mar del Plata is being...
in fucking Argentina. This is how crazy this is. You're not allowed to say killing children is bad if a Jew does it. Anywhere. Imagine if it was Jewish children. Yeah, I don't think you'd have get any flack. Known as the Land of Fire. The Tierra del Fuego, known as the Land of Fire. Yes. Yes, from the mainland by the Strait of Magellan, as in that guy that we were talking about earlier. Shared by Chile and Argentina. Known as Land of Fire, it features this is Tierra del Fuego. Dramatic landscapes of mountains, glaciers, and tundra with its main island, Isla Grande, split politically between the two countries. Ushuaia? I never heard that. Ushuaia, Argentina is a major city and a gateway for Antarctic expeditions, while the region is rich in oil, tourism, and natural beauty, including the convergence of the Atlantic, Pacific, and Southern Oceans. So they're gonna have a Tierra del Fuego is a gateway to freaking Antarctica, all that was all that was guarding it was a bunch of tribal dudes that even when it was freezing out there, they didn't have the good sense to wear clothes. So somebody came by with a Remington and popped them. I'm not seeing the crime here, sorry.
Tried simply for posting an International Criminal Court ruling labeling Netanyahu a war criminal, a ruling to which Argentina is formally bound. At this point, only popular organization and collective defense remain, because nearly every institution...
Because let's be honest here, just because they're in Argentina, I don't know what the hell they're speaking. If they're speaking Spanish or Portuguese or whatever the fuck it is, I know Brazilians, Portuguese. They don't look like they're natives. They don't look like they're aborigines. This guy. You follow me? You see what I'm trying to get at here? So it's a good thing that somebody who knows how to build things showed up there eventually and, taught them some smarts.
Institution, including many unions, has been absorbed into the structure of Zionist interference in the Argentine
Entonces
Republic.
queda nada más que la organización y la defensa popular, porque todas y cada una de las instituciones, incluyendo muchos de los sindicatos, han pasado
Muchos means
a
much.
ser
I got
parte
that
de la
one.
estructura de injerencismo sionista en la República Argentina.
Finally,
Or many. Yeah, finally. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
I understand that you covered a protest in Buenos Aires about the fire.
Yeah.
Tell us what the people who are protesting think. Is the blame being placed on the Mapuche people, or what is the situation on the street?
All right, hold on. I think we're good. We understand what's going on here. Goodbye. My daughter's home. I gotta go, kids. I gotta go. Let me take a look over here. Political prostitution like lobbyists between the sheets. I was gonna go into more stuff, but Bill the Butcher resubscribed 2 months. Something else happened. Oh, I got $3 from Bill the Butcher. That's what the chirp was for. Thank you. Thank you, sir. You guys are awesome. A new version? It's always a new version. What are you talking about? It's every day. It's a new version. Just be you, bro. Just be you. Talking about. All right. What happened here? Did it not show it anymore? That's weird. I thought it tells you. Oh, yeah, 218 right there. Okay, cool. And let's look over at Rumble. Weasel Demons. Pillad and Henderson. Yes, sir. All right. We'll do more later or something. I gotta go say hello to the child and get ignored as I do. It's all right. Just, part of it's the age. Yeah, what do you want, Dad?
Gave birth in 20.
Listen, I'm probably gonna end up getting killed trying to protect you. So the least you can do is give me a hug, you son of a bitch. Anyway, that's it. That's the response I want to say. Oh yeah, because Kazakhstan, Astana. That was the other thing I wanted to get into. Yeah, not today. We'll do it later, some other time. You are all appreciated. I want you to know that. We're all gonna die wonderfully together, or maybe not. Have a good night.